All right, everybody, this will be a warning to all politicians running for president 2024, part 123A. On with more of the dog and pony show we all get to watch every day, and most people aren't aware of it. With information and data that we're given, and through politicians and the news media, you got to understand, no matter what side you're on, left or the right, or you're trying to stay, down the middle and be independent, there is everything's like one giant infomercial anymore. You understand? They're selling you something. It's all advertising and marketing. They spend all this money on these groups and advisors and research, and stuff, and that's how they choose the things they're gonna support or deny or what have you. Who they can market their political careers or their agendas after. One of the biggest things is there's no critical thought or debate, and one of the professors, Willie Soon, pointed this out, that one of the people in the global warming thing they did pointed out that children in school, even their math that they're being taught is being related to global warming. They slip it in everywhere, and the education system's become an indoctrination system. Whether you look at global warming, it's all become social engineering. The agenda. They're not just gonna do their jobs and teach your kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. Instead of having them reading classics or books by people who discuss, things of higher thought and critical thought, and or all the classicals. That's they can get in, and they don't even get that in the universities anymore. You're going to give your kid books about, hey, you're not any specific gender, you're gonna die from global warming because corporate greed and all this, so they're using, people to, wait till they build re-education camps. They don't have to build re-education camps. They're in the schools, and they have Hollywood and the news media and politicians out there spewing their stuff, and you have a lot of impressionable people, even got more impressionable because, their minds have been turned to jelly from watching too many movies. You can definitely see that in and watching television shows and their news broadcasts. I mean, most people are stuck in their same situation, their same area, their localized perception, and then maybe even their statewide perception or what have you. There, and the people around them, if everyone all thinks the same way, it's awful hard to tell somebody, hey, that's bullshit. And one of the things I've noticed, even local media, doesn't matter what city I go to, my local news in the Phoenix, Arizona area is no different than what's being put on TV here in Vegas. It's no different than if I go to Chicago. It's no different if I go to Nashville. Wherever it is, if there's a story, and I know a lot of what they do is they just repeat what comes in from, either, like the API or AP or whatever it is, Reuters, all these big, and they get these, they just repeat. That's why they're called talking heads. They just repeat what's handed to them. And then you have a lot of local television stations in different cities that are owned by the same people. I mean, because the format, you look at the formats, you look at the way the average local newscaster looks, and you look at how their mannerisms are, even the little anecdotal things they say to each other and chuckle about in between. It's the same shit, just a different face. It's all the same. It's like, is somebody cloning these people? Are these people being cloned? I mean, and what's really hysterical is when you watch the sports broadcast, it's always the same kind of guy. Or now women. But it's always, if it's a guy, it's always the same kind. I mean, it's hysterical. And now we're going to go to sports with that zany guy, whatever, or the same with a lot of the weather people. It's the same spiel. And it's like, the dog and pony. It's all dog and pony show. And I really, I've said in the beginning through all these, the only way if you're on a search for truth, the only 100% truth you're going to find, and even that you have to be careful with, because so much time has gone by and people's understandings and teachings of things get diluted, even with religion. But the only place you're going to get truth you can count on is from your maker. And even that gets tainted once it gets in our hands down here on the planet. So I guess that's part of faith, is dealing with is trying to get on the purest path possible, and then realizing that maybe the next life things will be more perfect, like Jesus and all the other prophets have said, peace be upon them, than it is here, and things will get easier. But here, I mean, you can look, if you look at religion in the right way, you can see, here's Jesus who did all these miracles and stuff, and things have been diluted and changed so much that by the time he came, all the religious leaders couldn't even recognize, he was who he said he was. And they controlled the minds of the majority of the people. And you can look at our world today, and you can see, it doesn't matter what it is, what the people have been indoctrinated with. If you come along and go, I'm sorry, that's not correct. Like even my own religious beliefs, even before I got to the point where I am now, where I believe what the Baha'i say. When I went from Christianity to Islam, I mean, when I was a Christian, I never made no difference between my Christian faith and people who believed in Islam or Buddhism or anything like that. And I remember when I was younger and didn't know what anybody else believed, and the first time I met some Muslims who became very good friends of mine when I was younger, in my late teens and early 20s, when the one time in the beginning somebody was talking something about religion, and I said, well, you guys believe in Jesus, don't you? And I wasn't even a Christian, and I wasn't living there's you can debate on what a Christian is and stuff. I mean, I was still running around and doing things I shouldn't do, but I believe Jesus was who he said he was and everything, and I still believed in do unto others as you have done unto you. So in that respect, I can kind of say I was a Christian, but I was a Christian who was doing some very stupid things in the party life and all that kind of stuff. But as being a formal Christian, where I went and said the prayer of confession and all that type of stuff, and being a quote unquote like an evangelical type Christian, no, I wasn't one of those. I wasn't in any kind of organized which once I did kind of I think I can speak about this. I can see, I can look at that and say that was a mistake, because you begin to think that the people that you're listening to and are teaching the religion know what they're talking about. I mean, it's easy to see if you're a Protestant there, and you because you've been taught, pretty much your whole life, the Catholics, man, they're really screwed up, and if you're a Catholic, diehard Catholic, you can look at all the other denominations, go, man, they really strayed from the path. They should have stayed with the church, So I've been fortunate enough. Some ways you can say it's fortunate. I kind of floated on the breeze, here, and not clung to any one thing, and for a brief period I did, and then finally I was like, what the hell am I doing? What am I saying? And this references a time in my life after 9/11 when there was great animosity, and there still is. There's still people out there. You can look on YouTube, plenty of videos, still plenty of people out there demonizing the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the religion of Islam. They won't put the mirror up to their own faces and see what they've done in Christianity that they need to fine-tune. It's like the old sayings, clean up your own backyard before you clean up mine. And that's like Jesus used to say, get the beam out of your own, get the 4x4 out of your own eye, or the 2x4, or whatever you want to call it. Get the plank out of your own eye before you try and remove the splinter from somebody else's. And I try and do that, and I know, because sometimes I'll say things and then I'll think about it or whatever, or it just comes to mind later, and it's like, man, maybe I wasn't expressing that the right way, or maybe I'm not seeing that the right way. But self-reflection and all that, you have to do that. You have to check yourself from time to time, and a lot of people don't do that. They just follow the dogma, and I mean, that's how people like Hitler and stuff get so much power, and even people in this country can exalt themselves and demonize other people, and and that's from the left or the right. So it's a fine line, but they talk about wag the dog and all this, and I've always said it's hocus pocus. A lot of these people who are adamant adversaries while they're on camera, and even the news people, off camera, they're all friends. They're talking about what to invest in and this and that, and it's like their private joke. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff we're never going to know and everything, and a lot of things are going to happen we have no control over. And there's a Buddhist saying, the world's going to change, and don't worry, or don't like try and take sides, because there's nothing you can do about it, actually. But I can understand that on some degree, but then on another degree, it's like You know, that's kind of, that saying is kind of like, I relate it to the Christian saying, be in the world but not of the world. And it's like, trying, and in Islam, you know, take the middle path. Don't be extremist to either side. But then there's some things you have to get. I mean, if nobody stood up to Hitler, nobody got involved and just said, oh, well, the world's going to change, let them take over. You know, so I think you have to look at even sayings like that in a balanced way and say there are exceptions. So, but just the, you know, I've come to realize, you know, I very seldom watch the news anyway, because I know it's all the same crap and the same garbage. Even the anecdotal stories that I'll see in one city, you know, 2 days later I see, you know, the same crap was picked up, whether they're showing a TikTok clip or YouTube or something, or some kind of, you know, this fluff stuff that nobody cares about. I mean, George Carlin does a bit about the news, which if you have virgin ears there, you shouldn't listen to. If you get offended by vulgar language or whatever, you shouldn't be watching George Carlin anyway. But he does a bit about, you know, they're telling him about it's Mickey Mouse's birthday. And it's some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard in my life. You know, you might have a different opinion, but, you know, it's just, and it's the truth. You wait, how much time do people, I mean, waste their time? Whether it's television shows or the news, or, we waste so much of our time on garbage. So much of it, you know, people get so involved with sports or you know, like music. Hey, I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this. I'm saying this because I've realized this in my own life. We get too involved in a lot of things, and next thing you know, it's like years of your life go by, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? You know, your life passes by. I mean, it might not seem like it now. But like I said, I'm 55. You know, I'm gonna be 56. I'm looking at the downhill side. You know, and it's like I look back and it's like, holy mackerel, where'd my life go? You know, even at the times where I, you know, I'm applying myself and gonna do this or do that, and I you know, I thought I was doing everything right, and I guess in a lot of respects I was. I mean, I was working, taking care of my family, you know, and on that, I guess you call it the American walk of life. You know, you get some credit, you get a car, and you get a house, and you do this, and you do that, and you do this. Next thing you know, it's time to retire, and it's kind of like when I was younger, you know, I was a big fan of that Billy Joel song, Moving Out. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, I'm moving out, you know. If it's all about getting that Cadillac, you know, and then with a heart attack, you know, what's that about? You know, I used to, I don't want to encourage anybody, but, you know, I'm sure if they wanted to, if there's people ever pick up on all this and stuff, there'll be people who point this out, you know, my education level. But I used to skip a lot of school, unfortunately. Well, who knows? That could have been a blessing in disguise too. And I might have ended up indoctrinated some way. But, you know, and go hang out here or there, and you try and find ways to pass the day. You just end up thinking about a lot of stuff, you know. And, you know, I used to think, you know, what the hell's life about? You're born, you know, you get to a certain age, and then you got to take care of yourself, and you look at all the things that could happen to you, the tragedy that could happen to you, and all this. I mean, one time it's like, you know, the hell did you bring me in this world for? Ma, what were you thinking? You know, and so you gotta learn to count your blessings, definitely, because there's things about this, if you think about it and you look at it, and all the death and the wars and the misery and the people like Hitler's and the inhumanity to man, and you know, the burdens that are put on you just to survive. It can be pretty depressing. You know, you need those rays of light to come down every now and then. As if, okay, it's going to be all right. In the end, don't worry, it's going to be all right. And it's hard for a lot. I mean, hey, I make pretty good money. I'm trying to get out of my IRS debt and everything, and I've had setbacks. I was injured, and then I had, my divorce and everything I worked for is gone. Spent a lot of my early life doing things and getting involved and being unwise with my money. Then I settled down, trying to get on the right track, and was more unwise with my money. But you have other pressures. You have a wife, and going along with the whole spiel of what you do. You get married and you settle down. You have a kid, all that kind of stuff. So you get in debt with credit and all that, and it's just part of living and stuff. But actually should have been more wise. But lost my train of thought. But looking back, my early life, and then kind of the middle part of my life, and kind of like you forget about that bit about what's it all about. You don't even think about that sometimes. You get so involved with just living. What society tells you is the way to do it and everything, and so you kind of quit asking that question, what's it all about? And then you wake up someday and your life, you're on the downhill slope, and you go, what is life all about? Because all the things I said I wasn't going to do when I was a youth, I just went through all that crap. And the point, I guess the point, once I went through that early stage, then the next part of my life, and then even part of this later part of my life, has been more or less, other than just trying to survive, has been still, even though I was divorced and stuff, still having responsibilities of taking care of other people. So now my son's 19 and everything. I mean, I'll always help him as long as he stays on the straight and narrow and he's making an effort. This COVID crap has put a bosh on his education and his employment and stuff. So, and in the dead horse town of Malfunction Junction, Arizona, that he's living in, it's not easy on him as far as opportunity and stuff goes. And I know I can look back on my life being his age and just being at the end of my wits. What the hell, and I was in Jersey at the time. There wasn't much work, had a girlfriend, things weren't going good there, primarily because of my employment situation. I mean, how do you have a relationship with somebody when you don't have a freaking job? So I left the state and went to Arizona, and then ended up going to Denver and Lake Tahoe, and then back down to Arizona and stuff, and just trying to find, some kind of economic path to improve my situation. And it's just, struggling. It's really pissing me off when you hear people say white privilege and Obama saying, people didn't get this or that on their own. and everything. I mean, I can remember you just get things going good, you know. And I remember I got a car and things start going good, and then you think, oh, I'm going to take this money, I'm going to do this, and then boom, then the car breaks down, and you get a flat tire, you got shit like that to deal with. Then that shit makes you late to work, and then the boss is giving you hell and all this, and you're working for minimum friggin' wage. I've been there, done that. So, like here, the last couple months here, few months, I decided, I bought myself a nice guitar, this and that and everything, last time I was home, primarily because I thought I was going to need it to move and stuff, and I went and bought a pickup truck and stuff, and so I had a lot, it's like, this is the right thing to do, and now here I'm sitting broke down going, shit, I shouldn't spend the money, but you don't know what's going to happen. But so even regardless if things, were going good or not, and you still had this nagging thing, man, you spent money on yourself, and all I'm saying, like, it's been a long time since I spent money on myself, and I've done my bit of taking care of my responsibilities. I've done my bit out here, and you used to just about every panhandler came along, and give them something. Lots of them, I stop at the truck stop, see them on the corner, I'd buy a sandwich or something from Subway in there and give it to them on the way out, with a bottle of water or something. And back when I was a Christian, I'd put a tract in there. I know I haven't been the nicest person in my life to a lot of people, and I can be pretty blunt, and brutally honest at times, and sometimes people don't get that. It's even like, when you're you can help people, you can help, but there's sometimes you got to give them a kick in the ass. You're saying, wake the hell up, kick them in the ass. That's enough, or else they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. You got to make them think sometimes. But so some people don't get that, and and I've been called mean before, but as mean as times I've come off to some people in life, or hard ass, actually, I'm the type of guy that'll get down on the floor and roll around with a puppy. I just, laugh my ass off. A lot of joys in life, but, a bunch of puppies trying to climb all over you and lick your face and stuff. If you don't laugh at something like, there's some people would never lower themselves to that. That's not distinguishing, but I couldn't be seen doing that. I don't care, but so I've done a little bit for myself here later in my life. I'm not going to, some guys go off on that middle-aged thing and just, they want the young girlfriend and the Corvette and all this. I'm not like that. However, I do know I need to focus more on me now. For, I could drop dead tomorrow. I could live another 10 or 20 years. I need to start thinking about myself to some degree. So, going to be doing that. But anyhow, back to all the main stuff. It's just amazing going from town to town. I don't care. Put on a news station. I mean, there used to be some difference. You could go kind of region to region. You'd get a little difference. Now no more. Doesn't matter. You're watching your news in Des Moines, Iowa right now, your local news. Guarantee out in LA, newscasters is exactly the same way. The set might be a little more fancy and polished, but the things they're talking about and their mannerisms and the little anecdotal shit and the little fluff stories, it's all the same. So that's where I'm going with this, I don't know, Fox, it doesn't matter if it's Fox or whatever. You used to have shows like Point Counterpoint and this and that and everything, where when you had somebody, the news was like independent. You would have somebody on who was going to talk about XYZ, and then you would have somebody across from them also talking about XYZ, giving a different view and trying to give different data, and the news people were kind of in the middle, etc. You don't have that no more. They don't have to do that anymore. So now the news media, and who decides who gets on TV to offer their viewpoints and stuff, they decide. So the news media puts this one guy on, XYZ, there's nobody to counter it. And if that's going on across the whole country, if you're only getting that one slant on things, because all these news stations are owned by the same people, or they're all going by the same script or whatever's handed to them down the line from the bigger ups in the news industry or the government, then you might as well be in North Korea watching state-run news. And you got to ask who's setting the social agenda, who's gotten in the door and gotten into positions of power to ram all this homosexuality and transgender crap and all this global warming and just pile it on from coast to coast. Every school, every news station, it's going on. And that's I'll have to do a third one of these, because I got off track there with my own life stuff, and but I'll be right back. All right. Have a good Thanksgiving. God bless.